Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry Unfiltered with myself, Adam Smith. Very pleased to say on the show today, don't know how to describe this guy because he is a presenter, he's an influencer, but I'm going to call him an entertainer. It's my good mate, HP, like the sauce, Harry Pinero. Harry, is that an accurate description of yourself?
I think as accurate as you can get, you know, brother. I think, yeah, I do a little bit more, but I sometimes I feel like I just got some long description, so I just keep it entertainer, presenter. Unfortunately, I hate the word influencer, but yeah.
Why is that? Because a lot of influencers say that they hate the word influencer.
It's just, because you know what it is? I think there was a taboo around what an influencer is. Yeah. Someone that just does ads, sponsored, whatever it is. Yeah. And I'm more than that. I've got talent. Yeah. So I think, even though I know I am one, I try to just say I'm more than that.
You do a lot of brand deals though, don't you?
Come on, man. These bills got to get paid, Smithy, man. They are got to get paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't mind it. Do you know, it is what it is. I wouldn't change what I do for anything, to be fair.
Love that. Now, you've got quite a unique story. We've obviously known each other for many years now. Tell us about how you started, your childhood, and what you wanted to be when you were a young kid. Was it always been on an online sort of personality or not?
Obviously, before online was anything, I felt like I was always an entertainer. So growing up, I would watch like Jamie Foxx, Marlon Wayans, Damon Wayans, and I would always feel like those people were just being themselves. They just have a lucky job of being able to get paid and get filmed to do it. So I think in essence, in my heart, that was always something that I kind of wanted to do. I would like, you know, my sister would be a witness to it. I'd be like acting out scenes that I saw on TV at home with her. But then there was no like direct route to do that. Obviously my parents, if I told my parents, yeah, dad, look, I want to get into, I want to become a TV show guy, or, you know, and you'd be like, have you gone mad? Are you crazy? What? Because there's no route there, innit?
Yeah.
So growing up, I think I always had that little naughty streak in terms of just being cheeky, being funny and so on and so forth. Got me in a lot of trouble in school. Yeah. But I was very intelligent in school. I know I don't look it. But yeah, I was very intelligent in school and that. And
I can believe that, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you.
But cheeky chappy as well, that doesn't surprise me.
No, like that's just my character. That's who I am. I would always find a joke in something, innit? Yeah. So growing up, I think that was a theme that followed me from primary school all the way to secondary school and obviously college and uni, which I actually went to college and uni combined time, 2 months and 22 days.
Wow.
Incredible, innit? Look where I am now. You know
very modest, yeah.
Yeah, very modest. But yeah, so that was like my upbringing. I think both my parents still together. I'm from an African background, so I think the essence on being successful was very, very there. It was, you know, very important in our family. Yeah. My family have come from Sierra Leone, didn't really have that much, and built something here. So I think for them, they looked at me as like, this is the route that you need to take. However, in my heart of hearts, I felt like I don't want to just be a doctor. I don't want to be a nurse because I don't have no interest in it, you know? And I think that's where probably we rebelled against each other because I just felt like there's more to my life, and I just felt like I need to find what that was. But it took me a long time to kind of find that. And then when I did find it, it was when I was 27 years of age.
Wow. And
that's when I met you guys and this career began, I guess.
Can I pick you up on that? So your parents wanted you to go down a very different route,
so like,
a doctor or a lawyer or something like that?
Something that was tangible, something that would can allow you to make money for the rest of your life. Yeah. Like get a trade. Like my dad was, go be a plumber, go find something that there'll always be work for around the world. And it's not to say that's not an ideal way of living. It's just not what I wanted, you know, but I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So then when I did actually, you know, like I did try and get a job, I worked at Co-op and all these places. And that actually taught me the value of a pound.
Really?
That go on, explain. Me. Because I was used to just like, you know, my upbringing, I was, you know, was a bit of a naughty boy when I was growing up as well. So there's certain things that I would do because it was just quicker money in it. But then I realized, you know what, this ain't gonna pay the bills. Let me go and work. And when I got my first job, I remember I got my wages, and because when you first make your like money and you haven't been taxed, you know, everything is all tax free until you make I think 11.5 grand. I think up until then, you're living. Yeah. So I remember I got like 4 grand. I did overtime. I was like, woo, I'm balling, and I blew like 700 quid on a night out. Yeah. Yeah. And then I remember, oh my God, do you know how much hours of work I had to do to get that money?
Yeah, interesting.
So then that made me realize when halfway through the month I had no money, I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. I need to really put my mind together and actually have some discipline in it. And I think getting a normal job, 9 to 5, taught me so much about myself, so that when I actually started my career, I knew that I would know how to manage my money in it.
That's really interesting. That it gives you an appreciation.
Yeah, I understand. Like, and then even like just working there, like being able to like, you know, like there's a thing called facing up when you work in a shop, yeah, where everything's got to be, in accordance. So like, you know, everything's got to be straight. And then someone will just come in, take a sugar and just leave it near the chocolates, and it used to jar me. So now,
I know what you mean, actually.
Yeah, because you're one of them. I can tell.
I think I have done that.
I can tell, bro. You're one of them.
I don't mean to, but if you're in a rush,
of course,
and you got your little one or your kid, you
just slap it anywhere. And then
is that a bad trait? Is it?
No, it's when you're working there, it's so jarring. So I remember saying to myself, like, now, even when I go to a shop, I'm always, because I'm like, I know it feels like, brother, don't worry.
If you're not buying anything, you'll just stack the shelves.
I just put it back in it. So I feel like that period of my life was it taught me a lot about where I am now. So I feel like that's why with this, where I am in this industry, I've lived a normal life before. I didn't grow in this industry.
That give you grounding as well?
Of course, man. Like I've got friends who I've known way before I was successful, and they're still with me to this day.
Yeah.
I've got my family, obviously, who've always been there with me, and then it's like, people from my area that know me have seen my growth. They've seen me, you know, not have anything to having something and still be the same. I think that's why I just love doing what I do, because nothing's changed really.
Yeah, that's
my career's changed, but me as a person, I've developed, but I've not changed.
Yeah,
and I think going through those moments in my life is the reason why that's happened.
What's your relationship like with your family? And at the time when you said they wanted you to go down a stereotypical job route?
It was terrible. Like, not terrible. My mum and dad always loved me. Sorry.
Yeah.
But when you want something for your child and they're not doing it, and you feel like they're wasting their life, it's very difficult for the relationship to be strong. Because deep down in your heart, you're like, you're wasting your life.
So did you have some difficult conversations with your parents?
Yeah. Like
how did they go?
My parents were very like, you can do anything. Like, my mum used to come back from work, and she would like have a Metro newspaper and cut out like job applications and stuff. Really? And I'd be like, yeah, mum, no, I promise you. She'll go to sleep, slap that in the bin. Because I wasn't on it. It's not like I wanted to be a bum. It's just, I wasn't interested. Yeah. I'm someone that if I'm going to do something, I have to be interested in it. Yeah. I don't do things just for the sake of it.
You got a passion for it.
Yeah, man. I've got to be like, you know what? This is something I want to do. Let me do it, innit? And I think up until then, it was very like, I don't think we had the best of relationships, and it was down to me, really, if I'm being honest. Really? But we powered through. The minute I said to my dad, like, Raj, you know, I had a job, I was working in the office here, and my dad was like to me, I was like to my dad, like, look, obviously I'm contributing to the house now, but I'm gonna quit my job. And he was like, you just started. And I was like, Dad, trust me. And he's like, you know, cool. And then as time went on, he started to realize, my boy's doing really well. My boy's actually passionate about something. Yeah, interesting. And then our relationship over the last 6 years has probably been the best it's been since I've been 14 or 13. You know what I mean? And I think that is the beauty of family, because I feel like, you know, you have your ups and downs, but the love was always there throughout everything. It's just that they were just a bit jarred. So
your dad came around quite quickly. Was your mum, did she struggle more than your dad to understand it? I think my dad,
you know, like, you got a boy as well. You know, like, we both have boys. It's like, when you look at your boy, you just think, you want him to be the better version of you, innit? Or even way better than what you are. And I think that's what probably hit my dad more. Yeah. And then when you're seeing other kids growing up and they're doing well, they're going to uni, they're doing all that stuff, and you're looking at your son like, why can't you just sort yourself out? So that was probably the hardest part. But other than that, man, we had a great, like, now our relationship is top tier. Arsenal fan. Like, the last message that he sent me was when Arsenal beat City. Not a message or anything. And all I said is this, he goes, this team needs some congratulations from you. And I just said, well done, Dad. And he goes, thank you. Like, brilliant. It's just like,
I know what you mean. My family, we talk loads about football and not like, how you been?
Literally, like my if I show you everything, it's just football. I was showing Chunks and the boys the other day. I was just like, look at these messages from last season. Yeah. Screenshots of this team. And if United lose, he would call me and be like, are you okay, son? Yeah? Everything all good? And I'll be like,
quite a few phone calls then.
Yeah, I just lock off. Yeah, well, cheeky. It's just been beautiful, and I think that is the reason why I'm so like assured and I've got security and mentally secure, is because I've got real family and real friends behind the camera.
I love that. Go on, let's talk about how it started then. You are someone that has millions of followers on all different platforms. You work with some huge brands, done a lot with me at Sky as well. Yeah. How did it start? What was the first sort of videos, the sort of the passion? How did you grow to become what you are today in quite a short space of time?
Yeah, it is short. Sometimes I think, how long have I been doing this? And it's been like 5 years. Which for me has gone past.
That's crazy with your numbers now.
Yeah, it's gone past like so quickly. But I think for me it started with my, I was recording videos basically, and I was just like, I know that girls would find me attractive if I cut my hair. So yes, because if I don't have a haircut, it's
modest.
Crazy. Yeah, well, you know, that goes. But no, jokes aside, I was like, and I know that I have stories that guys would love as well. So I knew that, look, if I basically infuse both of them together, there's an audience there that will take me serious. And I was like, what, 27, kind of like, you know, approaching my 30s, but still relatively young. And yeah, I started recording videos basically speaking about scenarios that have happened between men and women that we can all relate to. And I feel like nobody was doing that at the time. I was unique. I was being unfiltered, saying how I felt, saying black and white. And it just caught like a fire. Like everyone, every time I'd post something, and at the time, I'm Just Bait was like a page. If you're on that page, you're doing something well. That literally just boosted my following. My following just started growing and growing and growing. And then I got given an opportunity after that to do a show called Talent Hunt, which was Link Up TV at the time, was like, along with GRM Daily, was like the big pages, innit? So I did a show for them. Rashid gave me the opportunity. Shout out to Rashid. And yeah, it just flew. I was going around like asking girls, moving to girls. It was like, oh, he's like Hitch. That's what it was like, innit? And I fed off that so much because I was just like, because no one's doing this, let's see how far I can go with this, innit? But I always knew that this is not something that I want my career to be associated with forever.
Even at the early stage, when that's your content strategy, yeah, because you knew that wasn't sustainable.
I didn't come into this as an 18-year-old naive. I come into a 27-year-old man,
right,
who can look at and be like, this is what I want for my career. I want to do what I'm doing now. I want to have football content. I want to, you know, work with brands. I want to have agencies. I want to have businesses and all that stuff. And that doesn't happen if you're just doing the same content. Because it gets boring. People will be like, how long is he going to talk about sex for? How long is he going to, you know what I'm trying to say? And I think for me, I wanted to give people a part of my personality. But I guess people thought that was all my personality. That people just thought, oh, that's all you do, talk about sex, and that's all you do, talk about whatever. But it was the elephant in the room that we all know about, but some people just don't talk about. And I felt like I had the cojones to actually go and do it. So after Talent Hunt, we did Does the Shoe Fit with Chunks, Philly, and
popular
that was up to this day, run the world everywhere I go. People ask me about that, and that for me, I think, was the one that basically was the most unfiltered that I was, talking about sex and talking about situations that we've gone through. And I guess people felt like that's how I am as a person. And I think that was a bit, not difficult, but I had to be mentally prepared to be like, people are gonna think you're like a proper bad person in it if you just...
Really?
Yeah, just
were
because...
you thinking about that at the time as well when you're doing it?
Of course. Yeah. Like, I'd meet people and they'd be like, I have normal conversations with them and they'll be like, do you know what? You're actually all right, you know? And I used to be like, in my head, I'm thinking, I don't look at people that do content and think that's how you are 24/7.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? But I guess with social media, if you're doing it well, people will just think that's how you are.
And also people on social media just see the cut downs. Like, I've seen a lot of that, and it's sometimes just a snippet on Instagram or Twitter. You don't see the whole episode.
It's what blogs
because
do.
They put the clickbait stuff out.
Yeah,
so,
clickbait.
So a lot of people
look, we all do it.
that.
I do it for other stuff. I do it for, like, you know, when I want to do like a teaser for a video, I'll just do clickbait. So I guess that, you know, I knew what I was doing, signing up for doing that stuff, innit? So I think that was where I was like, all right, cool. I don't want to just be pigeonholed in this type of content. Yeah. Because it's not something that you can, like, who the hell? I see myself having a primetime TV show. I see myself working on you know, on linear TV doing sports content. Yeah. If I'm just associated with that, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And that's interesting. So you knew that show catapulted you probably to where you are today. But even when you're doing it, you knew that it's not sustainable because of the type of content it was.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, cool. Talking about stuff like that, although like every probably exec in TV in the UK probably knows of that show. Yeah. But doesn't mean they'll commission it. Doesn't mean that they'll, you know, they would endorse it publicly. They'll watch it at home when it's not nothing to do with them at work, but they won't endorse it. And I knew that early on. So I was like, yeah, let me find something that I have that's my own, innit? So being funny, you have options to do other things. You can do football content that's funny. You can do TV shows, you can do YouTube shows, you can do so many other different things that show that you have a different side to you. And I felt like I didn't want to be someone who's just like does everything but a master of nothing. Yeah, so interesting. So I really just started to hone in on my craft. What is it that I love doing? I love football. I love entertaining. I love acting. I do, like, get me, I love doing sit down videos with my friends on YouTube. Like, then I just started doing what I loved. and I put that to the side. However, people still feel like that's how I am as a person. I've met people, Smithy, and they're like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like he was, I didn't feel like he was a nice guy, you know. I thought he was misogynistic. I felt like he was narcissist because of your videos, innit? Just because I'm speaking confidently on a date, it's a joke. It's a joke. Like where these are actors, models.
It's a dating program.
It's a dating program. Like, I'm not going on there to find love.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship while I was doing that stuff as well.
How was that? Because obviously it is a dating program, but you're
like,
in a relationship at the time.
I'm going home to my missus.
Yeah.
Like I'm going home to my missus, and after we finish wrapping up, it's like love for the work. Everyone goes home, but people don't see that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like,
was she happy with you doing that? She knows
at first, of course, she was, but then you know, when people start coming at you for whatever it is, for whatever reason, because their insecurities are coming out and they feel like that could never be me, but it's not you. So what's the problem?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's actually not you.
Yeah.
Like people are taking aspirins for other people's headache. And I realized early on, I just didn't care. Like I was one of those people that would just be like, oh, that's more engagement, love. And then it go about, because it is literally.
I was going to ask you about that, how it made you feel when people come up, because you've got such a huge following now, and you do have a lot of love and a lot of respect from a lot of people towards you, but you must have people that troll you as well, just with the amount of
never in person though
that you have.
It's never in person. It's always online.
How does that make you feel when that does happen?
Care.
Don't care at all.
I swear. Look, the life that I used to live and the life that I live now, if you told me at a 16-year-old Harry that you'd be doing what you're doing now, and the only thing you got to worry about is people commenting, I'd say, I'll chop your hand off and take it. Because I have completed my journey of happiness. I wake up every day and I get to do what I want. Yeah. That's beautiful. So comments come with it. You don't, in this industry, you cannot think that just because you're a nice person and so on and so forth, that certain people won't still have something bad to say. And I think if you worry about what other people say, you're in the wrong sport. Really and truly. Like, I've always said this, like, for example, in real life, let's say, for example, you live in a village and everyone in the village doesn't like you because you've done something. You still have to come out of your house and see those people every day. We have an app on our phone that we can actually turn off, put my phone down, and I enjoy my life. And I feel like people forget that. They're so addicted to their phones and what people's got to say that they care. I couldn't care less. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I think I know that the people that I work with in the industry, they respect me because I'm a good-hearted person. And I feel like that is something that if you ask anyone, they'll say that. And I'm not even tooting my own horn. That's actually who I am as a person. So it's like, that is what matters. My reputation, my legacy, not what people have got to say. Because it could be me today, someone else tomorrow. Yeah. And that's how it goes. So I've never ever like lost sleep over anything. Wow. Because I'm just like, this don't matter. You know, like, and I think a big part of that is, again, I lived a life way before I went on social media. Whereas some people, they've grown on social media. Everyone loves you. And then you do something wrong. Yeah. My whole life's over. Yeah. That's a horrible way to live, man. Yeah. Honestly. I'm loving the metaphors, HP. I've got to say, like, I used to be a rapper. Someone else's headache. I used to be a rapper. Living in the village. It's got me thinking. If you didn't know, sign me. Warner. No, it's there. It's like, it's the only way I can explain it that doesn't, because some people might not understand it in our way. Yeah. Because you've been doing this for a very long time as well. I can only imagine probably if you was on social media, like if there was like a Twitter or X now, Instagram back in the day, like when you first started, people would be like, who is this guy? Whatever. Yeah. Whereas I'm watching it, enjoying it, because I'm like, this guy has got the balls to actually go and be himself, be funny, and then look where you are now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, you just got to focus on love yourself, man. I was going to ask you about that, because we speak on this podcast a lot of YouTubers that say the first time they do a video, there's that nervousness, that anxiety, looking at the comments. I look back at the first interview I did or the first show I did on Sky, and I look back at that, and it's, I mean, I'm like half the presenter I am now. I'm not saying I'm the finished article by any stretch of imagination. You're really, really good, Smithy. I say that all the time. When I've watched you, especially when we do Saturday Social, I've never seen you fumble a word in my whole life. Crazy. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Like, honestly, a lot of pressure on this week's show now. Yeah. Well, if you mess up, man, that's commentator's curse. Welcome to Social Saturday. Oh, yeah. You're going to be in my head now. It's a live show. No, I appreciate that, mate. Yeah. But my point is, when I look back on the first interview I did, I'm like, wow, I look nervous. Even the way that I'm sitting, your body language, and first shows I did, the first time I ever did live TV, it's like, wow, you do take that experience and you get better and you learn with it. And a lot of YouTubers say that they are nervous the first time they do anything, or they have that anxiousness.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the first time you were filming yourself, it seems like you've always had that confidence in yourself and that own ability. You look back on your early videos, and do you not feel that way? You always felt you had a gift, so to speak?
Yeah, so like my first videos were me filming myself, so the pressure wasn't really there. You know what I mean? But to put it out there, I think that was the confidence, putting it out there. My first ever YouTube video I did, my first intro was like, yo, it's your boy HP like the sauce. No, I didn't say that shit. I said, yo, it's your boy Harry Pinero and welcome to Talent Hunt. My voice was so low.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy, Tevin, behind the camera was like, yeah, no, we need that energy that you bring on the stairs. So I was like, I work best under pressure. So I was like, yo, it's your boy HP like the sauce, Harry Pinero, and welcome to Talent Hunt. We're in Shepherd's Bush today and we're going to see who's got talent. Let's go. And I did that off the whim, innit?
Brilliant.
Because I was like, all right, cool. Then I was like, keep the cameras rolling. Let's keep that energy going. And I realized how you start is how you go on, innit? So I was just like, I need to show that I'm in control here.
Yeah.
I can't let these cameras and, you know how it goes. I've filmed in front of 30 people before and acted like no one's there. Because I don't care who's behind the camera. Do you know what I mean? And I think it shows when the way we are as people and stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I'm filming and it's like, my heart's beating. Like, I remember one time, I was filming once, and then the sound man came up to me and goes, man, I could hear your heart beating through the mic.
Wow.
Because my heart was beating, but it was just because the moment was incredible. But when I watched back, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean by that. As well. Like, I also find, do you find when there's so many people behind the camera or so many people giving you their thoughts, they're like, speak a bit, you can get bogged down with how many opinions you're taking. Obviously, speak a bit louder or quieter or more energy, or put your hands in your pocket, don't be your hands in your pocket. It's like the best bit of advice I ever got told was just be yourself and be natural. Because as soon as you're trying to be something you're not, I think that shows. And looking back on my first stuff, it's like I can see that I'm not being myself. I'm trying to be what people want me to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's
best bit of advice I had was just be yourself.
Yeah, and I think for me, the worst thing I ever did was, well, I actually haven't done it. So the worst thing I could do is take someone's advice and let it alter who I am as a person. I
know what you mean.
That is horrible. I would advise any person that's trying to do content, whatever, don't let it alter it. Just add it to what you've got. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember that. Do you know what? The most nervous I've ever been is probably when I do voiceovers.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like,
why?
Because I find myself trying to do a voice that's not me. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm like,
come on, give us an HP voiceover.
For example, I did something with, it was this brand. It was, they resell trainers. Forgot what they're called.
Okay.
Collect. That's it. Collect.
Other resale trainer brands do exist.
Yeah. And if you're looking for someone, shout me. But yeah, I remember doing it and I was like, what is this? What am I doing? Yeah. I'm talking like I went to Harvard. I'm like, bro, I'm from Peckham, mate. I need to give it a bit of sauce there. And I remember saying to the lady halfway through, I was like, can I be honest with you guys? Look, I know what you're trying to do, but maybe just be me, please. Yeah. Because this ain't gonna work. And I feel like the beauty that we have is that you lot have booked me because you've watched me be me. Now, if I then come and start trying to be someone else, it doesn't align well, innit? So I'm just always trying to be myself. And I don't care. If you tell me to speak a different way, I'll walk out the building because it's just not who I am. Like, this is how I speak. My audience loves it. I ain't gonna change. And I don't care. I think I'm so nonchalant right now, just because I feel like I'm so powerful because of who I am as a person. And I think, so nerves don't really happen. Only time, and guess what? So when I interviewed Paul Scholes, for example, that's like my, you
love Scholesy, don't you?
Brother, I call him dad. Even though I've got my own dad, he's not really my dad, but like, that's the respect that I have for him.
You had to clarify.
No, of course. I mean, it's clear to see he's white, I'm black, do you know what I mean? But, when I interviewed him, the only time I was nervous was actually physically meeting him.
Really?
But I wanted it to be on camera.
Go on, explain how that moment went then. So you're growing up, he's your childhood hero.
Like Man United, when I like, you know, when you logically know about football and you know everyone loves football until you watch it from a different lens. Yeah. So I remember 98 World Cup, I loved him so much that when Owen was going to score, I wanted him to pass the Scholes because Scholes was right there.
Really, yeah.
Like I felt like he just didn't say much, but he was just top tier. Yeah. And obviously there's that debate about Gerrard and Lampard and stuff. And I'm like, cool, I hear all of that numbers and stuff. But the eye test, I think when you watch Scholes play, he's incredible. And I felt like, I realized as time was going on, hey, he's always playing. He's always ticking. He's always the one that people go to. Yeah.
Greatest ever Prem midfielder for you, would you say, Scholesy?
I think it's tough now, I think, because Kevin De Bruyne is now in the Premier League. And I think if you look at what he's done, I think of that era for me, that Barclay card Premier League and all that stuff, I think for me, Scholes. But I understand the argument of Gerrard and Lampard and stuff. Maybe more Gerrard than Lampard, because I think Gerrard, I mean, when I interviewed Scholes, he goes, I asked him, Gerrard or him, and he said, I don't think I could have done what Gerrard done in that Liverpool team. And it's true, because I think Gerrard was a man mountain of a player, whereas Scholes was the controller. He made everything calm and cool, and even under pressure from players like Gerrard, you just couldn't get near him. So they're different type of players. But I think, yeah, walking up to see that man, and I've had many opportunities to meet him. I remember one time Man United were playing, and then they were doing something with BT Sport at the time.
Your mate Rio, yeah?
Oh no, my good friend, yeah. Could call him that if you want. But yeah, so literally they was walking across. I called Rio, and Rio was like, bro, can't you see I'm working? It's me, bro. When you walk back, tell Scholes I'm here. So he's walking back. I'm about to call Rio to remind him, but then he literally points up, looks at me and goes, there's Harry. And obviously I had been messaging him anyway. Yeah. And he waved at me and I was like,
well, yeah, it is.
I said, yo, my life's a joke. From a little kid supporting Man United to then my icons. Yeah. I call them, I speak to them, I can call them for advice. I work with Rio now. It's unreal. So when I walked through into his gym, the hug was organic. I hugged all his family, and we had probably his best ever interview that you've ever seen, because it's like, he felt comfortable. Yeah. And for me,
I know what you mean by that.
That was a testament of how good I am at my job. Because as much as I'm a fan of him, I also was a great presenter on that. And that's not me tooting my own horn, that's me speaking facts. Like, I did really well in that interview, and that's why it's done so well.
Yeah, it is a good interview. I've seen that. Did he know who you were?
So basically, how he knew who I was I done a little Q&A on my Instagram, and then someone was like, who's your favourite Man United player? And I was like, Paul Scholes. And I obviously showed a jersey, and I added him. He responded like within 20 seconds. But I think what it was, his daughter's a fan, innit? So, not a fan, she's a supporter. Yeah. And then, so she was like, oh, Dad, look, Harry Pinero, whatever. And then he responded and goes, oh, my daughter loves you. And I lost my mind. Like, I think I called every single person on my phone book. Really? I was like, look who's responded on my Instagram. Yeah. And I think, you know, I had been trying to message him for years and he just wouldn't respond because he probably doesn't respond on Instagram. Yeah. And yeah, just to get that response from him, I think was like, wow, I'm doing really well then, innit? For him to know who I am, or his family to know who I am. Yeah. We're from two different walks of life. Yeah. And, you know, it was incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing seeing actually your journey. You're talking about the early stuff to what you're doing now, but we're going to talk about football. In terms of your journey itself, I wanted to ask how important Chunks has been in your development, because obviously, mate of ours, unbelievable guy, doing unbelievably well as well. How important was he in your journey? Because you worked with him at a very early stage in your career, didn't you?
It was him and Philly. I don't think it was just Chunks, but them two were, so I'm a late YouTube person, if that makes sense, in terms of watching YouTube and content creators. The only people I knew when I was growing up was the Sidemen, and more than anyone, KSI. Because I loved playing FIFA, that's now FC24 now, but I loved playing that. So watching him just be a madman, I was like, wow, this guy's sick. Yeah. And then I stopped watching YouTube, and then I just watched like documentaries and so on and so forth. So when I started doing like content creation, I didn't know how massive Chunks and Philly was. They're juggernauts in the culture and stuff. They were like doing incredible stuff. But Chunks reached out to me to say, I love what you're doing, and you know, like,
oh really? He reached out to you first?
Yeah, because he's got a friend. We got a mutual friend called Liban, and he was like, yeah, Harry's sick. You should go and watch his stuff. Chunks, being the person that he is, DM'd me and was like, yeah, I think you're incredible, but I didn't think he wanted to like link up. I just thought, like, you know, randomly, just because I do that all the time. I message someone and say you're sick. Doesn't mean I want to link you or I want to work with you. I just love what you're doing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, if I do a good interview, sometimes you get people going, great chat. Great, it doesn't mean
they don't mean they're going to offer you flipping a job, innit? You know what I mean? So he was like, I'm going to be at this event. Me and Philly are going to be there. I had met Philly beforehand anyway, but that was like not a real interaction. Anyway, so I met them while I was doing Talent Hunt. First time ever. They was behind the camera. No, I was filming. They came behind me, and organically we created our friendship there and then. Wow! And for me, I think working with them two has built my audience to another level, because their fans have now become my fans. I've done so many videos with me. They're my friends, innit? Like beyond, but outside of the camera, it's not no fake like on-screen relationship. Like I'll call him, you call me. And I think that is why it works so well. I think that's why our content is so organic, and we have content that's evergreen, because we work so well together.
Yeah, testament to them as well, because I've seen clips of Philly on stage winning awards and saying, "Where's Harry Pinero?"
Yeah, because
come with me, and Chunk saying,
we all
"It's
do it
me and Philly and Harry Pinero." So you've created this great trio. I mean, they are doing so well, and testament to them. Tell us about the effect of Chunks and Philly.
Okay, so you do something for Chunks, you're gone. It's a bit simple as that. Like, he's such a likable person, but also as a character as well. He's such a likable person. I think very, very funny and talented off the whim. Like, he could just make anyone laugh in a room.
Yes, true.
And I think what I love about him is that, like, he's so himself, and he hasn't conformed to anything. I think he's still young as well. Like, and I can only see him being like one of the greatest. I think he is already one of the greatest anyway. And then Philly, I think, talented human being. Like, working with him, I get the best results.
Good energy as well. Great energy.
Like,
right?
Us two together, it's just like, it's something else. And I think I'm very lucky to have had those two people in my career, because they also look at me and think, bro, you're incredible as well. So we're all just like, no, you're amazing. No, but you're amazing. Like, it's proper, all of that stuff in it. So yeah, man, I'm very lucky to have those people. I still feel like I would have had a great career without them, but I think that it's definitely propelled me to like another level working with them as well. Like, I have people come up to me, and this is the Chunks effect. I remember I was in, where was I in? We was in LA actually. And then some guy was like to me, man, I love watching your content, man. When you see Chunks, man, tell him I said, what's up? I said, I don't know your name. And what am I going to do? Call Chunks? There's some guy in America said, what's up? You'd be like, you probably lock off the phone. But that's the effect that people have. And we just filmed some videos in Qatar. And then some guy couldn't really speak English, and he just said, Bunda. And I was just like, wow, it's universal, innit? And yeah, I think that's the beauty of our relationships.
Yeah, how big give us an insight, because you travel the world with Chunks and Philly.
Yeah.
How big are they in terms of when you go abroad? Because we've seen them at, Sidemen Games, and they've done soccer aid. We see it in this country. I've seen the numbers on YouTube. But when you go to Australia and Qatar, we did how big are Chunks and Philly?
We did Australia, and I'm telling you, it was roadblock. Wow. It was like, if ever I felt like Michael Jackson, that was it. I just literally, like, it's wherever you go, you put somewhere on Instagram, people they're gonna arrive there. Like, we literally have to snap or post after we've left, because it just gets crazy. Remember, like, YouTube is now TV. This is what people are seeing. So TikTok, all of these, we're everywhere. They're everywhere, them two. And they've got an amazing podcast coming as well. And I think it's about time, because they've got so many stories that I think need to be shown, and people have seen them grow from young kids. Yeah. Or young men, should I say, to grown adults who are now doing even bigger things than they've ever done before. So yeah, them two are elite, man. They're like
shot in this very studio, actually. Chunks Philly podcast. One of Upload's productions coming very soon. How big do you think they can be then? What's their ceiling?
I think if they want to be honest, look, I think they're already massive big, but I feel like they can be whatever they want to. They can change the way things are looked at on TV, social media. I think they're like I don't want to say Ant and Dec, because Ant and Dec have done their own thing. They are going to be the new Chunks, and they're just going to be Chunks and Philly. Like, we're in a new space right now where it's like, Ant and Dec were the TV guys. I think these two are the social media ones. Yeah. And I think everyone loves them in terms of like easy views, doing really well financially as well. Shout out to my brothers. So they're doing well, man. Yeah.
I love the way you talk about them, because you're obviously very confident in your own abilities, but it was interesting hearing there how grateful you are for the help that they've had in your career.
Of course. I've helped them too, don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? They call me for shoots. Oh, Harry, we need you. So I'm like, again, that's where it is. It's so organic. Like, I've never taken no money from them for any shoot, vice versa. I actually don't call them enough for content, if I'm honest. My first big video I did was in Qatar, where I had some of the beta squad as well. So I feel like I'm now in that place where I'm like, I'm ready to be a serious YouTuber now, and I'm gonna call on them now. So if you're watching this, brother, answer your calls. You know what I mean? Because so it's a very, very organic relationship.
I love it. What are the biggest challenges you find doing what you're doing now, in terms of
privacy?
Really,
privacy's gone out the window. Like, I can't go to a restaurant without someone slyly taking a picture or wanting to take a picture.
Does that wind you up, or do you understand it?
I understand it. It doesn't wind me up. It jars me sometimes, because it's like, sometimes you just want someone to like wait until you finish eating your food or whatever. Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Also, people's perception of me can kind of like make them be a bit like, I don't know about you. And
you mentioned that a few times.
Yeah,
people coming up to you or online. So I know you said you've got thick skin, but is that something you're not entirely happy with?
No, because it makes me think that maybe that's what a lot of people think, and it's like, you know, I've had over hundreds of people say to me, I'm not gonna lie, when I watched your stuff, I thought this and I thought that, but you're actually this. Then I make them look dumb. I'm like, so you think, that I can live my life like this all the time? Because I know, but like, you know, sometimes I'm just like, this is the thing. Like, social media is so powerful that it can alter people's realities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think some people are living in a, you know, like I call it a little Black Mirror episode where they think that everything like that is real. So I'll say privacy is, I think, is the only thing that really, I'm just like, oh, I can't do this, or I've got to go here. I can't post at this time. And that's what it comes with. It is what it is, isn't it? But I think that's the only thing that's challenging about it. And also, like, there's a lot of like two-faced people in this industry as well. People that feel like they deserve something without not doing the work. Like, you've got to do the work. And I think some people forget that. And it comes across in the way they are. Like, you know, I never respond to people what they say online. I think online people have this thing, the entitlement, because you're on their TV or you're on their phone, and they feel like they own you to some capacity. And I just don't let them do that. People are dying for a comment from me and I just never say anything. Do you know what I'm saying? I might say a broad statement, but that's never anything direct at anyone. I just don't think that that's the right way. I don't want to look back and cringe. Because some people, like, if something happens online, they'll just automatically just respond. I just don't do it because I feel like, have some patience, be chill, it will pass. I think I watched something where Tom Hanks was around a lot of actors, Denzel Washington and Leonardo DiCaprio, if I'm correct. And someone asked him, what advice would you give to yourself? It too will pass, I think he said. Meaning that whatever it is that's going to happen, chill out, it will pass. Yeah. And then you reflect that way and you can look back and become more better and more mature and, you know, more decisive with your decisions, innit? Yeah. I don't like to act on a whim because you make the wrong decisions. And it's like a snowball effect of L, and I don't want that for myself.
Yeah, some big dogs in that meeting room, by the way. Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio. You're not in that room, not invited.
No, the thing is, traffic.
Couldn't make it.
No, traffic. There was a lot in New York.
Roadblock for Harry Pinero at the time.
But I did send a voice note over, and they was happy. They was happy with that.
Well, on a serious note, you're right about the grind. Like on this pod, Jack Mate was on talking about didn't earn for 7 years. But he kept with the grind. You know, Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV talking about the fact that he had a full-time job before that and getting into it very late, but had such a passion for it. That hard work, everyone we speak to, I was the same. I was doing unpaid work experience, being a runner. You have to have that grind. I think you've got to have that passion for what you're in to wanting to be that. Is that something you found that all the people, because you've worked with KSI, Chunks, Philly, they're all very hard working individuals, aren't they? That have got to where they are through, it's not luck where they've got to, it's through hard work.
No chance. Yeah, my first year I didn't make a penny. I remember I had an invoice that I was owed by TikTok for $1,000. 6 months I didn't get paid. But it was through an agency, it wasn't actually them. Right. And I remember just every day just hoping the email would come through that the funds have been paid. But within that time, I was still going to shoots. I was still trying my best. I was like not stopping until I felt like the penny would drop in it. And when it drops, you take it.
You were waiting for the penny to
literally like,
come in.
That was a good one. That was a good one. For them, chef.
Thank you. Yeah, they'll cut that out.
But yeah, literally, I was waiting for it, and I just felt like money wasn't the reason why I wanted to do this. Yeah. Of course, you know, like you want to be successful, but when you get your first big check or check in general, it doesn't feel like what you felt like it was going to feel like. It feels like, I want more of this. I want to have this forever. I want to be, doing this forever. And it only happens with hard work. Like, for example, I'm in a place where I can say I'm comfortable, but I've just come off the flight from Qatar, went to Manchester to film a Foot Asylum ad, came back to London, and I'm here. Like, it doesn't stop, and I love it.
Shout out for you, by the way. We're filming very early. You're a bit busy, man. So shout out.
But I love it though. Like, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I really wouldn't want it any other way. And I think that's, like you said, you gotta love this, man. You can't just be in this thinking that things are gonna happen. You still have to go and work. I still email people that I've worked with and asking them if there is any other work that they want to do, or give them, I've got an idea and I'd love to have you on board. Like, you've got to be smart, man. You've got to keep grinding.
Being proactive as well.
Being proactive, I've cut out, you know, I feel like things that would stop me from being proactive, just because I felt like it's time for me to really go in and put my foot down. And I think no one can stop me. Literally, that's how I feel. And that comes from seeing other people work hard, seeing that this is the standard. Anything below that isn't good enough. So, you know, that's my way of doing things.
What's really interesting with you, HP, is the way that your journey sort of changed and altered. You've mentioned a few times about the early stuff. Do you look back? I'm not going to say regret, because obviously it's taken you to where you were. But do you? No, yeah. But do you look back on that, some of the old videos, and that's not really who you were? I just wanted to elaborate.
No, it was
because you mentioned it a few times about that. That's not you. Your early videos.
Yeah, but like my point is, when I say it's not me, I am more than just that. If you ask me who I am, I'm a Muslim man. I'm a black man from Peckham. I'm a family man. I'm someone who loves and cares for my family and my friends. That's who I am. The parts that I show people are parts of who I am. So if at this time I'm talking about dogs, I like flipping dogs, then I'm a dog man at that time. But if I grow not to like dogs, then I'm not anymore. And that's all right. That's what human beings do. I feel like when you're in this industry, people don't allow you to grow and become different to what you are before. It's like, you know, looking at a toddler, because a toddler poos himself all the time. You just associate, oh, you've always, and then he's a 30-year-old man, but you pooed yourself when he was younger. That's not fair. You know what I'm trying to say? And I don't think that is what I am. I grow. I'm a father now. You know what I'm trying to say? My decisions have to be different. I'm now looking after multiple people. You know, I have a lot of people working for me now. And I wouldn't say working for me, working with me. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, that comes with a different type of pressure, which I love, by the way. But who I was in the beginning, of course, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't ever regret that. That's a blessing, if anything. Do you know what I'm saying? I captured people's attention, I developed and became someone else. 10 years time, I'm not going to be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I could be doing something different. And I think that is growth. Social media doesn't allow you to do that. They'll drag things from your past and make you feel like, you know, you are still that person. But you have to tell yourself and know who you are, that I ain't that person. You know, like I always say, if every single person had the magnifying glass on them like we do, everyone would be jobless. But they don't. So they can sit behind their computers and critique other people. But you couldn't last a day in these shoes, because the pressure that comes with it breaks people, and it doesn't break me. So I know that the person that I've become is based on who I was as a person. There's no regret at all. The people that know and look at that as content, those are the people that I really appreciate, because you understand that this is the journey that I had to take to get here, innit? And it's not a journey that I would ever stop. I love it.
Let's talk about that journey, because you have done some amazing things. I wanted to pick up some of the things you've done and really know what your sort of highlights been so far. Yeah. Firstly, one of the things that I think of, you hosting the Brit Awards, that must be a really proud moment. I actually
host it.
Did you not host it? You're involved in part of the presenting team, though, weren't you?
Yeah, so, actually, no, you're right. Sorry, man.
You're one of the hosts.
I'm sorry.
Talking yourself
Smithy,
down now.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I did.
Doing so much.
I did the red carpet.
Yeah.
With Amelia. Shout out to Amelia.
Yeah.
So easy working with her. But that was wild because it was live TV. And just like you said, prior to doing that, we had to do rehearsals and Amelia was smashing it.
Yeah.
I was just getting it wrong.
Nervous that day? Were you nervous?
Absolutely, because it's different. I've never done that before. In-ears in my ear.
Yeah, go on, explain about that, because a lot of people don't understand. Obviously, in-ear piece, you have someone talking to you while you're talking.
Got someone saying to you, okay, cool, we're going to do a VT in 10, 9, 8. And I got to talk and rap just before that. We going back and forth with Amelia as well.
You've got hard counts you've got to hit and stuff.
Everything in it. There was a lot of stuff I hadn't done before. Seen people do it, but never done before, never knew how difficult it was. But on the day, doing that, no issues. Because I'm just like, I ain't getting this wrong. It's live, you know? So that was crazy. I met so many like famous people walking through the red carpet.
Go on, give me some names.
Stormzy, Ed Sheeran.
Wow. Two very good first names there.
yeah. just massive people like I think who else was there? Obviously DBE.
Yeah.
Just a lot of like.
And you're interviewing. Sorry, so when you're interviewing Storm,
Burna Boy, like interviewing some incredible people about awards they've won and why they're there and funny questions and obviously again like having a talented Amelia next to me was just so much easier as well. So that was a very high moment in my career, and I think a lot of people looked at me and was like, "Wow, you're gone." Like my friends always message me, "Yeah, you're gone, and I'm like, "Oh man, I might be sneaking." Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but I love that moment. That was a good part of my career.
Yeah, and of course, clothing brand We Are Winning. Tell us where that came from, that sort of catchphrase, because that's very synonymous with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're a very positive guy.
We Are Winning. Literally, again, I think it's a bit about like people trying to dull your light. So We Are Winning for me is like, it used to be We Are Winning, you were losing. Now I always meant that by saying, losers that focus on winners and have something bad to say, they're losing. Whereas winners that all focus on winning, you don't look at another winner and be like, oh, hating. You look at them as like, I want to be inspired by you. So I felt like the community of people that I want to be around are people that are winning. Whether or not you work in retail and you just become a manager, you're a cleaner and you've just, you know, cleaned an amazing, or whatever it is that you do. If you're winning in that, I salute you. And I wanted to create a brand that is associated with that. And the growth of my first ever t-shirt to my second one, to my third one that's going to come out soon, my fourth one, it's going to show growth because it's steady. Steady wins the race, innit? And I just love having a winner's mentality. I think even when you're losing, you're winning at the same time because you're learning from something that you never would have known before. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted it to be. It's a community thing. I did a pop-up launch in my hometown, Peckham, and I just gave bare gifts away. And I was just basically trying to this is how we stay winning, is if we get what we get and we give back, because then that teaches other people. That's the only way that we're going to have generational happiness is if we're always giving back. And there's always someone you can hold on to and say, I needed some help in it. So that's why I started it. And any, you know, caption that you see on my Instagram is #WeAreWinning, in it. And it's traveled with me everywhere I go. So that was the premise of
it's like the mantra that you live by, isn't it?
Yeah, I love to win. I love seeing winners win. Obviously, my team ain't winning at the moment. I'm still winning.
Let's talk about Man United, because again, that's another proud moment related to your career. You've gone supporting Man United your whole life to working with the club, ringing Rio up. Tell us about some of the players that you're, I suppose, mates with. There's quite a few in there.
Rio.
Name drop them.
Yeah, no, Rio's thing is different.
He's on speed dial for you.
I'll call him now because I'll just get upset and call him for no reason. But yeah, like him, he's someone that we're from the same area, innit? And I think when I was growing up, Rio was like the coolest guy ever. Like,
what a player as well.
What a player. Like, not even just like he was world class.
Rolls Royce defender,
of a defender.
As in he could defend, but he could actually play as well with the ball.
He could play and everything. So I think having him as someone who I looked up to and then finally meeting him, and he was, you know, appreciative of what I've done and who I am. We're in business together now as well, which is mental. Like, doesn't even make sense sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Did you actually take a moment? Obviously you speak to him a lot, so he's your mate now, so it's never awkward now because you've worked in something. But do sometimes you get off the phone with him and go, wow,
of course, I'm just like, he'll be like, HP, and I'll come up and be like, yo, my brother, like, what's good? And it would just be having normal conversations. Yeah, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm thinking, you don't know that you are genuinely a part of my happiness. Growing up as a child, like having you as a centre back, him and Vidic, like just bossing the Premier League. To now I can call you, you know what I mean? Like I probably could go to your house for dinner if I wanted to, brother. Like that is elite stuff in it. So having someone like him, like
that's how close we are.
The captain Bruno Fernandes, when I interviewed him, he was he came to me and goes, oh, I see your stuff on TikTok, and I message him all the time when he does, you know, when we have a good game, bad game, whatever, and he's just such a likable. Do
you speak to him regularly even now?
Yeah, like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, even like Rasmus Højlund. He was a fan before he signed to United.
So Rasmus Højlund knew who you were prior to being United
player.
So
I found out about him at Atalanta because I had seen some clips and I watched the game and I was like, no, this guy's cold. So I went to go and DM him. He's following already. So I DM'd him and he was already a fan of the boys as well. So it was like, yeah, this is just mad. And I think the football world in general loves YouTube content, and we also love football. So most of the football players you see, I know. But in regards to United, I traveled with United. I did the Real Sociedad game, and I went to interview. I actually did a brand deal actually with Marriott Bonvoy, and it was me interviewing De Gea, Dalot, Scott McTominay, Bruno, Tom Heaton, and that same day Ronaldo was speaking downstairs to Dwight York, Cristiano Ronaldo, if you're wondering. And then I remember, like, I always take a jersey with me whenever I go to Old Trafford or Carrington, just in case I run into someone. So at the time, I saw my manager goes, you know, Ronaldo's downstairs. I've just gone, guys, I need a little 15-minute break. I goes, have anyone got a pen? Taken a pen, and I've ran downstairs. And then Dwight York, I've interviewed Dwight York as well. By the way, yeah, Dwight York, Dennis Irwin, Patrick Ever. Wes Brown, my brother. That guy, I love him differently. That's my guy. Anyway, so I've seen Dwight York, and I've gone, he's gone, hey, big man. With all due respect to Dwight, I was like, get out of my way, brother. Yeah,
you weren't my hero, but not today.
You're still my hero, brother, but Ronaldo's here. And then he's seen me and he's gone, do you want me to sign? And I've gone, yes, please. And this is the time I didn't want him to leave. I was like, Ronaldo, please stay.
Did you say that to Ronaldo?
I swear to God,
it's the only line that you said to Ronaldo,
I said to him,
please don't leave.
And he goes, hey, you know. Then I hugged him, shook his hand. And I think for 6 days I didn't wash the hand because I was like, I just need to I need to become Ronaldo now, innit? And then actually, I didn't want to take a picture with him. That moment meant more to me than everything. Okay. So then next time I saw him was at, we did something where we traveled like a player. Basically, I traveled with the team to the Real Sociedad game on the same plane as them and everything. When we took a picture, he was at the end and he came right next to me and he goes, how are you doing? And I said, what life am I living? Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo knows who I am. Like, he could never see me and not know who I am. Thierry Henry, for example. Like, we was at the Paris Saint-Germain game and he was like, hey, what? I've got a vlog. The way he's hugged me is like me and him play together. Me and him. It was me, him, and Beckham. Like, that is... Like, I'm not a fan of no one else apart from football players of the past. Because you guys made me love football differently. So when I have those interactions, it's full circle. You got to understand. It's like, I don't know if an artist who's up and coming loves Beyonce and she knows who you are. That feels crazy. Yeah. So all of these things are they're just all like surreal moments.
So that moment, Ronaldo knowing who Harry Pinero is, and you're a massive Man United fan, how did you react in that moment?
I called my friend Avelino, shout out Avelino. We was on FaceTime for about 40 minutes, not saying a word. Like, bro, like, it's unreal. Like, this is your club. Like, you love Spurs. Yeah. Like, it's like you seeing Glenn Hoddle or seeing, I don't know, Ginola or someone who you've seen.
Mate, I can totally relate. Do you know what's interesting? I don't know if you agree. You said footballers in the past. Yeah. It's something I can totally relate to because I'm lucky that I work at Sky and I do a lot with Tottenham. So I've worked with a lot of the current squad a lot. But when I see a player that I was a fan of as a kid, it's a different level. So when I see David Ginola or Paul Gascoigne, that for me is a different level of like, oh my God. And I recently hosted an evening with Paul Gascoigne, sold out venue, 500 people. And it was me and him on stage and he's like referencing me and we're talking about times we've met in the past. And I'm like, I go back to me as a kid then, which is amazing. And don't get me wrong, whenever I interview a Spurs player now, it's still amazing. But when I interview a player that when I was a kid, it hits me a different level because when I was really, really young watching Gazza and David Ginola, if you just said to me that you're going to be on stage hosting in a venue and being backstage with him for an hour, hearing his stories, it's so distant there. You'd never dream of it. So I know what you mean about the older players. It hits different, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like you said, I grew up watching you guys. You gave me happiness. You made me believe that, you know, my team's the greatest, or you gave me, like, I wanted to be like you when I was younger. Like, even me, like, I'm a crap finisher. I don't know how to score for nothing, but passing is my thing.
I've played with you. You're a pass master.
Paul Scholes. I tried my best. Even when I did the interview with him, even though it took me a long time to hit some of the targets, the way he was giving me advice, everything he said to me to do, he goes, focus on the target. Like, just don't forget all of that on your feet. Focus on the target. Like, getting that information from someone who you've watched play is out of this world.
How do you balance? Obviously, Man United aren't going through the best period at the minute. I think it's fair to say you're friends with a lot of these players. They follow you on social media, but also when the club's going through difficult times, do you find that tough to balance? Because effectively you have to give your opinion online, and obviously if your club's not doing particularly well, I mean, I do think they will improve. You've got a great squad of players and yet you've been unlucky with injuries, but do you have to be careful sometimes?
I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I was very like, everyone used to say, "Oh, you're friends with them. You won't say anything." But I was like, I love this club more than any player. Like, all of those players could leave tomorrow, and we'd get a new batch of players. I'd love that team the same way. So I think in order for me, I've just got my football podcast, which I've started with Culture Cams, and it's called Inside Scoop. And in order for that to do well, I've got to be real. I've got to be unfiltered.
But then a lot of them might see that. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm sure some of them probably won't like me anymore, which is fine because I've got a job here, which is to produce elite, real content. And I don't want nothing to be sugar-coated just because I am now friends with somebody. That's not fair for me. I think, if anything, they should respect my realness, respect how much I love the club that they play for. You see it all the time with Gary Neville. You see it all the time with all these players. They're very honest with how they feel about the club. And that's how you got to be. And I feel like that's why the good football podcasts or football shows do well, is because there isn't no friends. I can still see a player who I have said something bad about if they've had a bad performance and still shake his hand and still be like, brother, I love what you do. but I just want more. I feel like you can do more. And that's the reason why I say these things, because I know that they can do more. It's like for me now, if I then do a rubbish episode and you then say, Smithy, go, Harry, man, Harry's better than that. You think I'm going to be mad at you? If anything, I know I can do better. And it shows. So, nah, I don't feel like if it messes up a relationship, I guess that player's just not strong enough to deal with criticism then, more than anything.
Speaking of positives, you mentioned Rasmus Højlund. He looks like he's going to be a serious player.
I said this earlier.
Do you speak to him? Do you have a relationship with him after the game? Is your best?
So like, he likes all my pictures. I like all his pictures. Like, we're locked in, man. That's my guy. I was supposed to actually film with him and Ericsson, but the shoot got postponed. Wow. Can't wait to meet him finally, because, you know, he's younger than me as well, but I think he's a very, very good prospect for Man United. He's pace, he's strong, he can finish. And I think one thing you don't, it's kind of been distant with United is passion and working hard. He shows all of that. He embodies that. And I think we need 11 players like that in our team in order for us to be good again. Because you look at Spurs right now, everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. They're doing really, really well. I think they're not, I think they're being quiet with what they're doing. They're just doing what they need to do. James Maddison's coming to the team and you can just automatically see where he's at. Udogie, like all of these players, Bissouma, they're doing what they need to do. And I think in order for Man United to do well and for him to get the best of his, for us to get the best of his ability, is for all of us to be playing the same way.
What's he like outside of the pitch? Because you speak to him a bit.
So I've only spoken to him on, I can tell he's very shy.
Really?
But I can tell he's confident at the same time.
Right.
Like, I think those players from Scandinavia, they're different. They are built different. They are ready to go. And I think, he's going to be a good player for us. Yeah, serious player. Right, I've got some quick fire questions about you and your career, okay? So get your thinking hat on. Biggest name you've worked with or interviewed over the years? So biggest celebrity? I think in terms of talking about followers, probably Michael B. Jordan. I interviewed him twice for Creed and then once for a film that he did with Jamie Foxx. Forgot the name of it. But yeah, I'd say Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. Sure. Yeah. And he had Ed Sheeran as well. You chuck him in the mix. Yeah, Ed Sheeran. Forgot about him. You know, it's because I've interviewed so many people, it's hard because I've interviewed like Burna Boy, I've interviewed so many people, man. Yeah. Wow. But I would say Michael B. Jordan, Ed Sheeran. Okay. Ed Sheeran was the loveliest though. Nicest person you met, that's what I was about to ask. Yeah, he was incredible. Like, he was talking, because I went through his fit. I was like, talk you through it. He goes, just got these grape Jordans, Stone Island, of course, Combats, white t-shirt. He goes, I don't really buy like designer white t-shirts. Yeah, I've heard that. He's very down to earth. I'm like, brother, I do. I need to stop then. Because who the hell am I? You're a multi-millionaire. I'm just scraping, mate. Yeah, he's doing all right, isn't he? He's got a nice bit of wallet there. But, so Ed Sheeran, nicest person you've met? No. I've met nicer people. That sounds mad. No, I've met nice people also, but Ed Sheeran was really nice for someone of his stature, I'd say. Fine. Yeah. So nicest person of his stature, Ed Sheeran, you're going. Okay. Yeah. Most nervous you've ever been for a shoot? Most nervous? Probably the Paul Scholes interview. Yeah. Yeah, just because of how much it meant to me. Okay. Biggest vid you've ever done? This doesn't have to be views, but the video that you're most proud of, would you say? I've actually got a video coming out. Mario Go-Kart that I did in Qatar. Tell me about this. Honestly, I think this is going to be the best video I've ever done. Wow. Because it's my video, great quality cameras. I've got my friends in it. And it's just big budget. And I've got Stephen Tries doing the commentary on it as well. Wow. By the way, Stephen Tries, I said to him I'll pay him to do it. And he said no. Yeah, I've heard that. That don't mean that he's going to do that for everyone. So don't try it. But yeah, I feel like he's nice guy, the best when it comes to commentary. I think he's hilarious, like naturally funny. So yeah, I think that's going to be my best video. Okay. Most talented person in the YouTube space, who would you say that is? I can't say there's one. I can say Beta Squad. Yeah. But I think Nico Milana individually is a genius. I think such a selfless person as well. Yeah, can I just ask why you said that? Because I've heard a lot of people say like that Nico's a genius. Nico will, if you are passionate about something, Nico will call you. Like, for example, yesterday I needed an editor for this video because it's a big budget one, yeah? He found a person for me, got them to, to give me a nice fee and everything. When it comes to ideas, you can call Nico, who's stay on the phone to you for an hour, trying to figure stuff out for you. Like, he's just selfless. Like, he's the type of person, if I've got Man United tickets, and he's like, oh, Harry, I need some tickets, I will sacrifice my tickets for him because he's just a lovely guy, man. Incredible person. So, yeah, I'll say Nico Milana. Okay, good answer. Most famous person in your phone book? Because you don't mind dropping a name drop every now and again. So,
Can you give us a couple of names that are in there?
Stormzy, Rio, Chunks. I got a lot, man. Yeah, all day. I'll be honest.
Stormzy's that's not bad.
No, he's but he on FPL, one of the worst. Like, you see with Stormzy,
yeah.
We've got a group, with FPL Raptor, myself, Sharky, Chunks, and Storms, yeah. This man takes it so serious. The man's got off a jet, and he's talking about, Foden's not in my team. Like, he's, and then he was top last week, 2 weeks, and the voice note he sent in was he was like, I'm sick of it, being nice to all of you lot, and then now he's not, and it's like, it's crazy, but I'd say them three probably.
Okay, I want to ask you about the Sidemen charity match because you played in not this year, the one last year.
Yeah.
How proud a moment was that? And I just wanted to ask you about them as a group because what they've created in this space is
that was one of
phenomenal.
The biggest moments of my career for sure.
Really?
Yeah, because
career high for you. Yeah,
because pardon me, being in a stadium that's not been filled since Charlton was in the Premier League, and YouTube content creators filmed that. We had some of the biggest YouTubers in the world playing an 11-a-side game. I obviously played incredibly well, if you didn't know that. But it was just like, we did a lap of honor after the game was done, and I almost got emotional because I was like, wow, like these lot are here for us. Obviously significant amount are here for, Speed and Sidemen and Mr. Beast and stuff, but I know that there's people that know who I am here.
Yeah.
And even the moments leading up to it, went to a hotel the night before, we all got haircuts, got a massage. We traveled like, team, like a proper footballers, innit?
Yeah.
Pre-match meals and everything that a football player would do. And we did that as YouTubers. And I think for me, that was an incredible moment. One I'll never forget as well.
You've got a bit in your locker because we played in a celebrity charity match at QPR.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you got a lot of love as well. So there's a lot of people, you've got quite a cult audience yourself. I know that you're talking yourself down a bit, talking about Mr. Beast and other people, but a lot of love for you and a little bit of Scalzi in the middle of the park.
Do you know what it is? I'm rubbish at YouTube videos. like people like Chris MD and Theo Baker, they're top tier. When it comes to,
can whip a free kick,
they can whip it top in. But you see playing, I'm not a joke. I don't play games, and my fitness is back now. So like I'm on it. Obviously, I was gutted I didn't get to play this match, but I was happy. Yeah, of course. But it is what it is, innit? I've played before. At least I can say I've played, innit? But it's one of them ones where like just watching it and just knowing that like, wow. Because you know what I loved about that situation was a lot of people mentioned, "Where's Harry? Where's Harry?" So that alone is enough for me, innit? And you can't do everything, innit? And I'm not someone that's bitter. They gave me an opportunity to do it. Sidemen are, the biggest group in the world. When you think about it, innit? And following obviously Better Squad.
Incredible, innit? What Sidemen have done. What level can the sort of charity matches go to?
I don't even know how, because they're already mad now. I don't know how big they can get, bro. It's crazy.
I wanted to ask you about how your life sort of on and off the camera's changed, because you're a dad now.
Yes.
Obviously, we've got sons that are similar ages.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I became a dad, it gave me sort of a different perception and perspective on life. And it really put things into perspective about what you think are important or really the end of the world, but that really aren't. I'm a big Spurs fan. If my football team loses, it's not the end of the world. Do you know what I'm getting at? Like when you're a dad, you look at things differently. I just wondered how your perception on life changed when you became a dad.
When Man United lose, it does feel like the end of the world still. I'm still there. Maybe I've got a bit of growing up to do.
Then again, I don't know it this season.
Get out of here. Yeah. I think,
let's put this out soon, this video.
Yeah, I think the minute I became a father, I think I looked at life completely differently.
Yeah.
It was more about being the best version that I can be for my son and making sure that he doesn't go through the things that I had to go through. Like my son has salmon for breakfast. I wasn't eating salmon for breakfast. I was eating scrambled eggs, watery ones, because my dad didn't know how to do it properly. Do you know what I mean?
When you say doesn't go through what you went through, are you saying you had a bad childhood?
No, I mean as in like...
didn't have the luxuries that he has?
The luxuries that I have right now, I can give my son whatever he wants. And it's not to say that my parents couldn't, but they would have to work a bit extra harder for it because they had other things they're sorting out. Like, I can give my son anything he wants in this world. I'll go and do whatever. Like, my son's got life insurance. He's got, he goes to a great school, a nursery. Like, he has extracurricular activities that if he wants to do, all these things that he wants to do. Whereas I feel like my parents were going through, they gave me everything, but it was more about security more than do what you want. And I feel like that's what I have for my son. Also, I'm learning to be a bit more patient now as well, so that my son gets, the best version of me, even starting therapy, so that I can deal with certain things that I feel like could be a hindrance to his growth or could cause us to have some issues. And I think you only think about that when you're at a certain place in your life. And my son gave me that. It's an unconditional, unexplainable love that you have for your child. You die for your child.
Yeah.
Like that is something that isn't a joke. So I think with him, just communication, I feel like he's such a loving boy because of what he sees, you know, at home. When he goes to, you know, my parents' house, he just sees everyone is just in love.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm just a different type of person now. And I think even going out, like I don't even go out anymore. Like if I go out, it's got to be special occasion.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that.
Or my close friend's birthday.
You've got to have a reason not to be at home.
Yeah, a reason not to be at home.
Exactly,
and just also like, I'm just over it. When I first started, I was a proper party boy, innit? Out every night and whatever. And then you have a child and it's like, okay, I need to scale back a bit, innit? And if it's not work, then I don't want to.
I know exactly what you mean. Can I ask you about, you said you're going through therapy now. And I never knew that. Obviously, we chat.
Yeah.
Is there a reason behind that? Is that because...
Yeah, I just felt like there's a lot of things or trauma that I've got that I mask really well because I'm just very strong. But sometimes they affect me time and time again. So it's good to just have those... Speak to someone that's not a friend, not a family member, who doesn't have any judgment of you and is hearing it from the first time and taking that view on things. And I think it will make me a better person. Can make me a bit calmer, deal with things a bit different, be more, you know, like, you know, when something's happening and you're a bit angry, instead of reacting straight away, being able to be like, all right, let me process what's happening here. And I think that makes me a more stronger man and I'm in more control. So I'm all for therapy. I think mental health is a massive thing and being able to protect it is very, very important. And my career hasn't made me want to go and do mental health, do therapy, sorry. It's me more having a child and seeing what type of father I want to be for my son. And you know, kids, they pick up on things quickly. You know what I'm saying? My son wears a do-rag because he sees me wearing one. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like the influence is there and I just want to make sure that I can be the best for him.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a big advocate of mental health. I've had therapy. I thoroughly advise it. I think speaking to people is really good. You never know what other people are going through. So I completely get that. Religion's another massively important factor for your life, isn't it?
Yeah, huge. Again, like I said, I cut out a lot of things that I feel like don't work for my religion. And I just love my religion. It's very emotional. It's like a sense of peace and serenity. Like when you're following the way of my religion, which is Islam, and how peaceful it is, you know, like it is just about respect and manners and, you know, just carrying yourself the best version that you can be. And I think getting closer and closer to that will give me supreme happiness. I feel like I'm floating. And we did Umrah, me, Chunks, Sharky, Omar Sai, who does looping, which was crazy. Mustafa the Poet, Sheck West, Barlow. We did like an amazing, it just felt like brothers from different walks of life serving the same thing, which is God. And I think that for me was just like, there's no better feeling than that ever. I don't think anything in my life will feel better than that. Going and just feeling that serenity. It was incredible.
Just finally, the future for Harry Pinero. Where would you like to be with your career and your life 10 years? Because you're a very ambitious guy.
Yeah.
And I've got to praise you for that. You've always been very hardworking, very ambitious. So where would you like to be?
Well, I want to be a massive figure in the football space.
Okay.
I feel like that is it's always been my love. And I think that's what I want to do wholeheartedly now. I want to continually to just smash football. Acting as well. We've done a lot of stuff with Channel 4.0 and I want to take that further. I want to go into like do short films and so on and so forth. I think I've got a good talent there. I just want to hone in on it and learn from the best as well. And yeah, just have a place where people can create content, elite content, and they're not getting bumped by, you know, agencies or brands that want to take away and don't want the best for your career. I want to create that. And my brand, my clothing brand, I want it to be a thing where people that are winners want to wear it. You know, I want to do collabs with big brands so people can see that this is big. You know, I'm wearing some Cortez Air Max 95s.
He's on the brands already. Here we go.
No, this is Cortez is a streetwear brand.
Right, yeah.
With a few brothers who have now got a collaboration with Nike. Like that is something that is inspiring, isn't it? You know what I mean? And they probably had that on a vision board when they first started, and then they've done it. Yeah. So it's like, if anything's possible if you put the work in. So I think just bigger and better from Harry Pinero.
But lastly, we asked the guest this, advice for people wanting to be the next Harry Pinero. What do you say to them?
It's not going to happen. You can't be. Like you can't be the next someone. You can just take from what someone has done and try and emulate them themselves. And I looked at like Jamie Foxx and I said, these Marlon Wayans, Damon Wayans, I looked at these people and I could never be a Eddie Murphy or these people, but I can take what they've done and the bits that I feel like I'm lacking and go and do that. Be hardworking. Don't stop. Like, there is never a ceiling. You've got to just continually keep working and developing and getting better, and never get comfortable, because you get comfortable, then the bills start to topple up. So always find something and rest.
I like that. Like a good manager, you take a bit from all the managers that you've worked up to create your own identity.
It's like we see all the time with football players. They say, what they say?
I learned a bit from Mourinho, a bit from Ancelotti.
You have to, man, because everyone's got their elite parts of them, but you can't be another Harry Pinero. I can't be another you. I can't, even if I wanted to. I couldn't. I couldn't be you, but I can take.
You wouldn't want to be me, probably not.
No,
you're far bigger than I am.
You got to remember, when you was doing away days, I didn't know it was you until like
back in the day.
I was like, this guy is so tapped. It was mental. You know what I'm trying to say? That all of that, and the man you are now. You get me? Who can do that? Only you can do that. So that would be my advice to anyone. Just really, and I'm a massive, massive, massive advocate of praying. Whether or not you don't believe in God, spiritual, go do a yoga or something.
And resting. You like the downtime's important.
You know what I'm doing after this?
Resting?
Driving 100 miles per hour straight to my bed. I wish I could drive my car in my bed.
Yeah.
I can't wait to sleep. Do you know what I mean? But I love what I do anyway. So that would be my advice.
70 miles an hour tops, obviously.
I was joking, 100 miles per hour, I was joking,
Harry, I've got to say on a serious note, you've been so busy this week. You just got off a flight. You've come here at the crack of dawn to be here. You are a top man.
Thank you,
I found that very interesting. Hopefully many people will too. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you for having me, man. Peace.
Top man.